In business community, we often find ourselves in business conversation. This conversation takes place between business stakeholder, management, staffs, and customers for information from both sides relevant for the organizational goals. There are two types of business conversation. We have telephone and we have meeting communication.
Telephone communication refers to communication between two or more individuals through the use of a telephone. Telephone is the recommended means of communication when you need to communicate urgently or when communicating from a remote distance. It can also be a primary channel of communication. There are office guidelines for the use of telephone, which all workers must be familiar with and must adhere to. This etiquette shares similarity with the office guideline. They are be prepared. You have to be prepared and be informed, e.g., note an efficient network. You have to have a good network, good and efficient network when you want to speak to a client or a business investor. Be cautious, enthusiastic, and polite. You have to be polite when talking to a client. You don't have to be aggressive to them. Have a warm and welcoming aura. You have to speak politely. You have to use the three communicating words like thank you, please, and sorry. Speak clearly, concisely, and confidently. You have to speak very well. You have to be confident when talking to your client, and don't intimidate them. Focus at all times. You don't have to divert your attention when talking to your client or your business investor, so they'll be able to work with you next time.
So now we're going to know the special techniques used on telephone calls. I'm going to tell you about techniques for making calls. First, you need to plan the calls, topics, and the objectives to accomplish, which means this is just trying to tell you that you don't just go for any conversation, just like that. You should have already know the objectives of what you're about to talk about. That way, you can you can continue concisely inside the topic that you're going to say. The second one is assume the question or objectives you may encounter. There's some conversation that your client will want to know some things. Maybe it's about a project you are talking about to you, or whatever the discussion might be, maybe a problem. You must already have that question in mind and answers for all of them so as to help your client, so as to gain more trust on your client. Now, number three is have the correct number. This is actually more important because the correct number that you're talking about, it means your client's real number. You can go and mistakenly go and give wrong information to a wrong client or to the person, the opponent, person you have to talk to, your partner you have to talk to. So always remember to check the number you have, or if you have a place where you keep your favorite calls, just check there in case you have added it part of it. That's to help you easy way. Now, number four, make the business call at office hour. Don't try making calls during after office hours. Sometimes it can be very embarrassing, and also it will actually reduce your relationship between your clients. You don't want to or you don't want any wrong relationship or misunderstanding between you and your client. Office hours are working days. That time you already know, the client will already know that you are doing your work, or unless you can call him after office hours where you and him already have an agreement. So now this one now, number five, that is, once the call is answered, identify yourself. Identity is actually very important when making a call. It allows the client to know the person is talking to and also feel safe who is talking to. So always remember that when the call has been answered, the first thing is to identify yourself. That means your name, your department, your company's name, and maybe your code, all those things, so that the client know how to get in touch with you in case he meets another, is talking to another person, one of your partners. So now, continuation, take note of the person's action during the call and specify any follow-up action. That means everything is going to say. There are some details, whether it's about business or whether it's about problems, you must get it. You must get it. Everything must be note taken, because you don't know, maybe you might need to call him back, or maybe there might be one short problem in the phone calls. So always remember to take every note of everything that is detailed, or else it might actually make you lose more confidence with when you are talking to your client, and make your client feel that you are not actually taking him seriously. Now the next one is, if the person is busy, ask if he may call back. When you're going to ask, you don't just say, hello, sorry, but can I call back? You have to do it so politely. You understand what I'm saying, right? When I'm saying ask if you may call back, I'm telling you to I'm telling you to always remember to always politely say it in a welcoming aura, so you can know that you're actually giving him an opinion in case of busy, that you really care about his time and his schedule mood. Now the next one is, if he has not picked be picked by if he has not been picked, be patient. Which means this which means that when he's talking about being picked, that means if he has not picked the call, be patient. Sometimes it might take time before it actually connect. And if it doesn't connect, which is the last one, leave an information in voicemail. That one, that means you have to leave your identity, everything, and the reason why you call, and the time you'll be able to receive his call. So in that time, you'll be able to gain more. You'll be able to gain more connection with your client and be able to give him the details he or she needed, or he might be able to give you the details you needed. So these are all the special techniques used on telephone calls.
Answering calls. Firstly, answer the telephone quickly. Like, once you should be near the telephone, immediately the calls come in, you should pick on time. Secondly, use friendly greetings. Like, you should greet friendly and not in a rude manner, in a polite manner and in friendly manner. Secondly, identify yourself to the person with information and material ready. Like, I am so this from this department. I'm calling from this department. I'm from this company. The fourth one, identify who your caller is, like the name, the department. Like, am I talking to Mr. A from this department and this company? The fifth one, apologize for the person absence who was to receive the call and offer help. Like, if it was not you that was supposed to pick the call, you should apologize for the person's absence and tell the person you are the one who offered the help to pick the call. Then the last one, listen carefully, acknowledge his request, show care for the client. Listen to what all details and everything is going to say carefully, one after the other. Then take responsibility for the call. If necessary, you may offer to call back. Then the next one, putting calls on hold. Ask the client for permission to hold, wait for his or her reply, and show gratitude. Like, if you need to check on something, you ask for the client permission to please hold on or wait, and show gratitude, like telling him thank you, I'm sorry for the hold, and press the hold button before placing the headset on the radio. Remember who you put on hold. Don't forget the person you're putting on hold. Like, you should just forget the person and just do something else. It is wrong. Remember someone is on hold. Check back on the client periodically and show gratitude. Like, Mr. Hey, I am sorry. Are you still there? Like, you tell me yes, I'm still there, and tell him thank you. Ask whether they want to hold, leave a message, or be transferred to another person, or be called back at a certain time. That's all. Thank you.
I like to talk on meeting. What is meeting? Meeting is the gathering of two or more people that has been convened for the purpose of achieving a common goal through a verbal interaction, such as sharing information or reaching agreement. Meetings are opportunities that bring the right people together to discuss a predetermined outcome. They can occur both on face and online.
Planning a productive meeting, the first thing we have to do is define the meeting purpose and objective. The second one is creating the participation list. The third one, determine the modalities. The fourth one, develop the agenda. The fifth one, select the process tools. The sixth one, identify background materials. The seventh one, plan the meeting location. When you are done with the planning, the next one is how you are going to execute the meeting. So these are self-explanatory. The first one is opening the meeting, determine responsibilities, get into the discussion, document the meeting, summarize the meeting and confirm action items, evaluate the meeting, and the last thing, which is closing the meeting.
So the techniques for executing a productive meeting. First of all, you call on quiet member to make contributions. That is talking about during the meeting, duration of a meeting, the people that are quiet, you ask for their opinions. Some of them actually know what they are talking about the meeting, their ideas and their etiquette can help in the course of the meeting. Second one is appreciate and redirect participants. Always appreciate every ideas and opinions being given during a meeting. It can help alongside the meeting. Third one, honor all contributions. No matter how short, how small, or how vigorous a contribution is, always learn to honor it. Some might be helpful, and some can also help you during the meeting. Breakout groups. You always take a group and break certain groups, different people into certain groups during the meeting. It helps. It helps allow the meeting to progress. Open-minded questions. Open-minded questions are questions that are straightforward. Questions that require a yes or no answer. Questions that when you ask them, they are able to answer immediately with a yes or no.
There are other techniques you can also use to have a productive meeting, which are active listening, negative polling, synthesize ideas.
Managing conflict and disruptive meetings. Here, we'll be learning guidelines on how to manage conflict and disruptive meetings. First, you have to set a guideline to encourage the productive conflict. The productive conflict, yes, that's it. The next one is you have to interrupt a conflict when it's becoming personal or destructive. You have to notify or note when the conflict is becoming personal, maybe with your employee or with the person you are communicating with, and when it is about to become destructive. The next one, you have to redirect the discussion about blame from people to process. So you have to stop blaming people, but you have to take it to the next level. Then next, you have to use a parking lot to manage unproductive conflict. So when you discover that the conflict is unproductive, you have to take that conflict out and put it somewhere else and ensure that you redirect the discussion as said earlier. The next and final step is you have to describe, you have to state, and you have to redirect disruptive behavior. Whenever you find the person you are communicating with behaving in an abnormal way, you have to know that you have to note the state first, and you have to redirect the disruptive behavior by finding another use of communication to communicate with the person. Thank you.